let's go ahead. Let's start this up. Let's have this conversation because this is what's going on. So this Nicki Minaj versus the Megan the Stallion beef, and of course Megan the Stallion finally responds to. Oh, Nicki Minaj finally responds to Megan the Stallion. Oh, tongue twister. Sorry. I don't see probably Playtime came out yet. It's supposed to come out the 30th. No, it's definitely there, gang. I trust me. I checked it. The chapter comes out tomorrow. Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 comes out tomorrow, the 30th. So that's why I want to play it and get all this stuff done with the second one. And we could jump right into the third one this week. Is that fair? Is that fair? And see your girl go ahead and But without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's talk about this damn beef. Let's get into the damn video, y'all. Let's do it.
Beef that's going on right now. I'm sure you've seen something about this because this is like the one thing that everybody's talking about right now. So let's talk about it. So this starts off with a song that Megan Thee Stallion released the other day titled Hiss. I'm sure the song title is pretty self-explanatory, especially after you've seen the cover. As you can see, Megan Thee Stallion got a cobra around her neck, so Hiss relates to just that. So let's get straight into this song. Let's look at some of the bars that Megan Thee Stallion spit in this record. Let's see which one of them actually applies to Nicki, and then after that, we're gonna take a look at what Nicki Minaj said. So this song is more of a shot at the industry and not necessarily only Nicki. With that being said, there are a couple lines that directly apply to.
Man, my girl went ahead and the party, Tory, fucking Drake, fucking Nicki Minaj. My girl went ahead and said, let me address all of these things all at once, and I'm gonna lay this shit to rest. May I add, this girl has not said anything. She went out to a party over this weekend, having the time of her life, and she's just been posting up nothing but BTS of the song. When I say it is the girl, man, that Aquarius energy, man, love it.
To Nicki Minaj on
like,
this
I'm
record.
done.
So first we have this line right here where she says, these O's, trying to fool the algorithm here, you get what I'm saying? These O's don't be mad at Megan, these O's mad at Megan's Law. So this line right here is a reference to Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, who at the age of 16 was accused of vaping another 16-year-old girl. The woman
was convicted, tried, and also have to register. So that's not you know what I'm saying? That's nothing light. That's something that's serious. That's very serious. That is extremely serious. And Nicki Minaj like to say it is like, oh, like that's a lie and everything like that. It's like, I don't think it is that you have any of the proofing of backing that up. And then on top of that too, can we also be honest? Could we also be honest? It is that she comes from a family of that anyway. So I don't gotta say nothing else. I just said it.
The woman's name is Jennifer Hoff. She's in her 40s, and when she was 16 years old in 1994, she was then allegedly vaped by a 16-year-old Kenneth Petty. This allegedly happened when she was standing at a bus stop when Kenneth Petty eventually got to that same bus stop. He allegedly then asked her, where are you going? She responded saying, I'm going to school. Where are you going? She asked him. And Kenneth Petty then allegedly responded back by saying, I'm going to school also. Things escalated quickly because Jennifer Hoff then turned her back to Kenneth Petty, and according to her, that's when he approached her from behind and firmly pressed a knife into her back and told her to start walking. He then forced a 16-year-old Jennifer to a house around the corner from the bus stop, and that's when he allegedly vaped her. Kenneth Petty in 1995 ended up being convicted of attempted vape. He served about 4.5 years in prison, and as a condition of his conviction, he had to register as a sex offender whenever he moves. And this is when we circle back to what Megan said on his record, Megan's Law. Megan's Law is a law that was introduced in 1996. It's a federal law that requires the release of relevant information to protect the public from sexually violent offenders. The law requires the sex offender to register with various entities, including the National Sex Offender Registry. So that's what Megan Thee Stallion is referring to. She's essentially putting focus on Nicki's husband because that's one thing that Nicki has gotten very heavily criticized for in the last few years. Why did you decide to marry a man who has this kind of charge on his record?
And the thing is that bothers me enough about with Nicki is that she's been out in the game, I'd say maybe 2007, 2008. I know it is. I was in high school because me and my friends went to 106 in Park to see Nicki Minaj coming out. You know what I mean? I remember vividly of just like going to Manhattan 106 in Park to doing this. And she's very short in person. So I mean, you've been in this game for almost 20 years at this rate. You know what I mean? You have lineage to those years it is that you've done. There's so many women that I've seen with black and pink underneath hair with the bangs and everything like that. That was a staple. You know, the Barbie diamond chain and everything like that. Those are all staples. But I don't know who gave her the so-called claim title of queen or the queen of rap because for me, honestly, it is like I'd say queen as Beyonce, but then I'm a little confused with that. But she's ruining her legacy. She is wholeheartedly ruining the legacy. And I have to say alleged with this, even though she talked about this on the Vogue magazine, I think of as of last year or the year before, I can't remember of her substance addiction. Um, but she's ruining her legacy when it comes down to this. The things it is that you say and the things it is that you do carry weight for other little people. You know what I'm saying? Little people as like younger people. Let me put it that way. Younger people. I don't want to say little, but like younger people. So you was in that phase. I know a lot of people was in that phase between Cassie and Nicki Minaj. I seen people with half shaved heads and that blue and pink hair, man. Or that black and pink hair. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes down to this, of the things that it's doing, and you know, making a song, making two songs with Takashi 69, the stuff that was going on with her brother, the stuff that was going on with her husband and everything like that. A lot of I know a lot of barbs that also is just like, hey, listen, we like Nicki Minaj, but we can't stand this nigga, you know. And even they can attest to the fact of this is like, just doing this is weird, but I'ma still support Nicki Minaj and everything like that. Cool, that's fine and dandy, but you know we have to call it to what it is. Of like, that ain't no 15-year-old T or anything like that. That is legit. You can legit look up registries. You can look up names on registries. That is public information that had to be put out. I know she has no filter, but she kind of has to with someone with that much to lose, right? And Kenneth Petty does not have nothing to lose. That is a street nigga. He does street shit. He has nothing to lose, and she has a lot to lose. And this is why I say it is that she's ruining not only her reputation, the fan base, and on top of it, to the legacy it is that they have of her. Because all they're gonna think in their mind, moving forward within years to come, of how she treated people. You may not remember what somebody said to you, but you are going to remember what it is that they made you feel, and that always carries weight. That's a life lesson to anybody, but she's ruining her shit that way, and that kind of sucks. That sucks. I like some of Nicki Minaj's music, and I have talked about Pink Friday too. I've talked about how much it is. I'm like, all right, cool, I like it. Some people say they flop. You know, you said you see how they dox Megan's mother's grave. Swear they doxed the woman. That is, listen, I want this to be clear. That is a crime that you going into the cemeteries and doing stuff like that. They need to leave that stuff alone. This is another thing that I don't like about with Nicki. This is another thing it is I don't like about with Nicki. The fan base will go as far as doing stuff of doxing, which they have done before, and on top of that too, of things that you could be convicted for. Please don't. I'd be a little bit weirded if anybody would do something like this, regardless of who your fan base is or who like you're infatuated with. But when I say there's a level of Delulu, there's high the level of Delulus that come from her community. Right, just speaking up on somebody's deceased family member, especially a parent. I have not gone through that, but my grandfather has passed away in 2014. That was already traumatic enough for me and my family to go through something like that. I can't imagine or fathom the thought process of a parent. And Megan has lost both of her parents. Poor girl lost both of her parents. Oh, I appreciate it, Reese. Like Megan has lost both of her parents, gone into this industry, signed a label with 1501. That was complete shit and a disaster within itself. And then, of course, being around all these different people it is who do not have that are not your real friends. That could be hurtful. That's traumatic within itself. And then it's all back to back to back to back to back. I think people are not realizing the stuff it is that Megan really had to go through in such a short period of time. And her mother was the reason why it is she's in the rap game as it is today. It's her. You know?
That's the criticism. Now, aside from that line, Megan also had a line about feeling like Mariah Carey because, you know, these niggas are so obsessed. And that was at the beginning of the song. Because Megan rapped the word niggas, a lot of people weren't really thinking that she could be talking about Nicki here. Now, that's actually a reference to a beef that Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj were in some time back. And it goes all the way back to 2012 when Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey were judges on the show American Idol. Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey had a lot of differences while they were on the show, both behind the scenes and in front of the camera.
Are you country?
Sorry.
Are you country?
Just
Do you like country?
do,
Do you like country?
Nikki,
And I kind of feel like
I'm making comments. I'm trying to help her. We're trying to help her as opposed to just talk about her outfit.
I'm going to continue to speak.
Of course, you always do.
Now, aside from this line right here, Megan also had another line on this record where she said, "Ever since I claimed the summer, all you bitches want a season." Now, this is a reference to
I ain't gonna lie, that's a hard bar. I'm sorry. Since I claimed the summer, all you bitches want a season. Ah, man, a bar.
To the Hot Girl Summer record featuring Nicki Minaj and Dollar Sign. 2019 is the year when Megan Thee Stallion, you know, took over, I guess, the summer and became the hot girl of the summer. It's a phrase that she always uses. So ever since I claimed the summer, all you know, bitches want a season. There's definitely a connection here because, you know, Nicki is like the queen of the industry as far as the female rappers. And she's, for the last couple of years, kind of been trying to reclaim her spot over and over again as there's been more female rappers coming in trying to take that throne. Maybe reclaim wouldn't be the right word because personally I don't think Nicki ever lost the throne. But perhaps
I don't think Nicki ever lost the throne neither, but especially at somebody that's within her 40s that's still able to rap and to I'm gonna disregard the diss song, even though it is we're gonna get to that too. For somebody that is and especially let's forget age. Let's just say how long it is that she's been in the rap game. At this rate, you see how it is with Beyonce, even though she's still able to go ahead and do what it is that she wants, like, you know, with music, being on tour and everything like that. She doesn't have to worry too much. She could kind of just chill because now it's like, all right, I already done did that. I already done did 30 years in this motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Nicki's at a point in her career to where it is she does not have to compete. And this is what confuses me about with this woman. You don't have to compete. You already claimed your set as it is. You've already paved the way for a lot of different people. It's that attitude. You have to check on that damn attitude. And also, you know, with the alleged substances. That's another thing too. But it's you gotta chill on that. People know who Nicki Minaj is. You know, they don't gotta say too much. You already done made that staple, but come on now. She needs to let other people have a chance. At this rate, like, I get the fact that she's usually one of the first women to go ahead and be like, hey, I want to work with this particular person. So, you know, she's worked with many different upcoming new poppin' artists, but she's also been falling out with these artists as well. So it's like, who can we put blame onto at this rate? Because these are issues. These are big issues that I am seeing. You said you serious? Yeah. I thought Nicki Minaj and Cardi was the same person until like 2 years. How did you? What? What? How did you? Oh, you're talking to Drew. Oh.
She's been trying to remind people why she is indeed, you know, the queen. Because honestly, numbers-wise, she is. Can't really compete with Nicki on that. So aside from that, these are the lines that Megan had for Nicki. And aside from this particular record, and aside from everything I covered here, there's really nothing else that Megan has said. She dropped this record and she's been completely quiet ever since then. So now we're gonna get into Nicki Minaj, cause god damn it, there's a lot to go over here. Not even sure where I should start. Should I start at the Bigfoot?
And especially that bar. Talking about something like niggas hate BBLs, but niggas be walking around with the same scars. When I say it is, that's a bar within itself too. because there's a lot of men that like to talk about with BBLs, and like there's some known men, celebrities, public figures that has also gotten surgery, went underneath the knife, got a little bit of a lipo, maybe got a little BBL here and there. You know what I'm saying? There's a few that I could able to think of at the top of my head. So that really is a little weird that y'all claim it is y'all hate these same things, but you do the same things. Weird shit.
Stuff. Should I start at the dead mother stuff? I don't really know, but we're gonna start somewhere. So let's start right here, okay? On his Instagram live, where a lot of things were said, but most importantly of all, as soon as this Meg song Hiss dropped, I believe it might have been within the same hour actually, Nicki Minaj decided to go live on Instagram, and she previewed a record where she said a couple things. So let me play you the snippet right here.
Don't you think that's a little bit weird that Nicki Minaj kind of just went ahead and just had that just in the tuck, like, oh yeah, I'm about to go live, I'm about to go like talk about this and this. That means it is that you and your fan base, the Barbs, the same people it is who don't like Megan Thee Stallion as it is, you mean to tell me it is that you waited for this song to drop, listen to it? It sounds like fans to me. It sounds like fans to me. That's something it is I will never understand. If you so-called proclaim it is that you hate somebody, why are you stalking them, or why are you trying to figure out what their moves are and stuff? That's the level of just like, baby girl, you don't really hate me. You don't really hate me the way it is that you say that you do. You know what I'm saying? If you talk about BBLs of yourself and natural, that's so. Wait, if you're talking about BBLs and you yourself ain't natural, then that's mad strange. But I mean, BBLs, regardless to what it is, it's just fat transfer. It's not shots. Like that's a difference. That's completely different. There a lot of people are acting. There's been a lot of things now coming out of like people with like that type of ass shots and everything of what it's doing to the body. And now they're getting those things removed because it is very unhealthy. But BBLs is fine. I think people be a little too hyper focused on plastic surgeries, especially to where it is it's not your body. You know what I mean? If I had certain money to go ahead and to do that myself, absolutely I would. I wouldn't go crazy. It's about like a few things I can think of that I would do. But I want to do a BBL. I don't feel like it is that I need to, because I did track. My butt grew through track. Cool. But in the same sense, you still have to work out, maintain everything, and do all those things to get the BBL where it needs to be. If not, then you got to do it all over again. It's a vicious cycle when it is you start doing plastic surgery, because there's all about with maintenance. And overall, it's a matter of just dieting and just being in the gym and stuff like that. All that stuff is what helps. But, and Nicki Minaj fell victim to plastic surgeries because Lil Wayne always would talk about women it is who have this particular body part. She's talked about this before with Joe Budden of just like, damn, Wayne will bring this girl into the studio, or Wayne will talk about that girl. So, all right, boom. In order for me to do this, and this, now I got to get my body like this. And that's a very compelling message, especially for younger women, because they feel like if this is what it is that I have to do to get seen or recognized and stuff like that, those are all things that is detrimental. Hence why Nicki has a diaper booty now. Now that's crazy. Here. That's crazy.
Yeah, bad bitch, she like 6 foot. I call it Bigfoot. The bitch fell off. I said, get up on your good foot.
So, if you didn't hear what she said, bad bitch, she like 6 foot. I call her Bigfoot. Bitch fell off. I said, get up on your good foot. So Bigfoot is a reference to an insult that Meg gets thrown at her a lot. And then getting up on your good foot, that's a reference to Tory Lanez allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Nicki is saying, one of your feet is all fucked up, better get up on your good foot. Now, as far as Nicki's response, this is just scratching the surface, because she was on this live saying a lot of things.
You wicked woman, lying on your dead mom. You are a wicked mom. But I said this before. I am a mama. Play with somebody else's family, bitch. And that goes for everybody. Male and female. And remember when I said I don't give a fuck how long it takes to get an out back? And let me tell you something. Whatever my pen don't get, God gon' get. I told y'all since my son has come into this world, don't play with me about no family, nothing. You the one that lied on your dead mama, 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 lied on your dead mama.
This comment, oh man. Oh, this is oh gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much, Contemporary Kim, because this is the golden question that I am just trying to figure out. Are you on coke? Are you on drugs? Are you on drugs? It sounds, and like anytime it is that she do these theatrical things, a lot of times it is like, oh, she's in Rome and she's this and this, but this woman has openly admitted to her substance abuse. So if we're going to sit there and have this conversation about, well, Megan told Nicki, if you just drink and this, and if you're pregnant, then get an abortion, this, and this, blase, blase. But Nicki wasn't pregnant at the time. She even posted that and deleted it. So it's like, sis, you wasn't pregnant at the time at all during that night of when y'all recorded the music video for the Hot Girl Summer. But doing all this, this is all it is I could think of. It's just like, is this coke? Is this drugs? Is it drugs? Is it drugs? She seems to not care about keeping her family fed, which is like she likes to talk. Like I don't know what this is, but if we're gonna, you can't talk about stuff with your family and then with your family background and everything. Mind you, Nicki has just went through a passing, and I will say with grieving has so many different stages with this. I'm not gonna say what stage is right, because everybody goes through, like, death. It could happen to anybody, and especially when like you're grieving a family member, or especially a parent, you're gonna go through all the feels. I would have thought with her speaking on Megan's mother is very distasteful. This is something it is that I probably will never be able to look at Nicki the same way, is because of this. It's so distasteful to talk about somebody deceased family member, parent that's no longer here with it. Like, this woman she didn't even know you before it is that she transitioned into the afterlife, which is it's very weird to me. I feel like if anybody was to do this, even just outside of just what street, like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I would have a problem with this. I would be like, I'm cool off of you, because this you can't say stuff like that. You cannot say stuff like that. And especially for Nicki, I would thought it is that she'd be a little bit more sympathetic on the fact that she's going through the same thing with a family member. So I don't like that. If I hear someone ever bring up my dead parent, I'm throwing hands. I'm not no morality. Like, I'm not gonna go ahead and throw morality into this when it comes down to like that. But if you decided it's like, hey, listen, we just gonna have to shake up the room because you mentioned about something that you ain't had no business doing. That is up to you. But it's so distasteful. It's very
Your dead mama. I don't care. Bitch. I dare you to say one more thing about my family. Bullet fragment foot. But you will not disrespect Papa Bear, you dirty ran through bird ass, bum ass.
But she didn't even say anything about Papa Bear. Can anybody tell me what she said about Papa Bear? I'm confused.
Broke. You broke. Tell them the truth. Play with Papa at your own risk. Okay? Okay? Because when it comes to my child, you're going to get a different person. Okay? Okay. And I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. I dare you.
So that's just a short little snippet of some of the things.
So, a threat. Okay, cool.
She said, don't want to play the entire thing.
Papa Bear's her son. Hold on. I should close my window, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Papa Bear is her son. I don't know if that ever came out of what her son's real name is, but she calls him Papa Bear, and there's nothing. I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're at a high level of an A-list rapper, and you don't want to disclose those things, cool. It's kind of the same thing with Halle that just recently had a baby with DDG. She's now like sharing those things about with the pregnancy and whatnot, and a lot of people kind of looking at her a little weird. But it's like you're not entitled to it, you know. So that it's a Summer Walker has a different name for her child.
Because she was literally on there for like 20 minutes straight, just going off. After the response to this entire thing, she said a couple things on Twitter responding to that. On this one tweet, she said, "Ha ha ha, don't freaking care. If the blogs and paid bots was real, y'all would have been able to sell albums and headline tours. Ha ha ha, moral police, suck my fat PUS was right. Who mad? Question mark, eye for an eye." And then on this other tweet, she said, "Y'all want to bring up family members in line on your dead mother, lied to Gail, lied on and effed your best friend's man, told me to drink and go to the clinic if I was pregnant, all because I wouldn't let your funky butt pour liquor down my throat. Girl thinks she a bully because she got a Rock Nation brunch every year. Be mad at party." That's Megan's ex-boyfriend. "He told all your tea, but you taking shots at my family. Okay. Ha ha ha. Get up on your good foot." And then she says, "Pink Friday too. Platinum, go apologize."
I mean, I can think if I really think about this, like I did not have a nickname, but I know of other people that I grew up with that they had a real name, like they had their real name, but their family members called them a certain name. You know, there's nothing wrong there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
"Apologize to your mother, nasty serpent. Repent." So that's kind of where things have ended. By the way, if you made it this far and you actually like this breakdown, do me a favor and like the video. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. Nicki's still kind of going off, and Meg hasn't said a single peep after she dropped her record. There's been a couple different responses to this. Number one, a lot of people are backing up Meg because Nicki Minaj is kind of not that liked in the music industry. So Meg dropping this record and making this statement against Nicki, it's a pretty big deal considering that not a lot of people would ever have the confidence to do this. And with that, I mean that a lot of female rappers would have the confidence to do something like this. Because it takes a lot of confidence to go against someone like Nicki Minaj, knowing what the outcome can be. The second response is, of course, the response of the Barbs. Because Nicki got a pretty strong fan base. And so her fan base, they're making a lot of noise on social media. They're backing her up 100% because from their perspective, Nicki Minaj is someone who's gone through a lot in the music industry. She had to fight for her spot, and she went through a lot in order to make it to this level. Despite her status, in a lot of ways, they feel like, hey, y'all haven't put no respect on Nicki, and now this woman has the audacity to come for her. She deserves.
I don't think anybody's not having respect for Nicki because, again, like, for how long it is that she's been in this career and the things it is that she had to do to get to this level, I understand she's paved a lot of ways. My thing is she does not have to do the things it is that she do. She really just doesn't have to do that. She could chill the fuck out and be like, hey, listen, if I want to go ahead and take a break and let the little youngins go ahead and think that they have their turn, and then I come back in here and show them how it's really done. And just go back into hiding and everything. There was actually an interview where Nicki Minaj has said this of like, at first it is, I don't, when it comes down to like with rumors or things being said about me, I don't go ahead and I talk. I go into the booth and just write down everything like that and drop the damn music. You know what I'm saying? She's losing the essence of what it is she used to say. Right before our very eyes. She had mind you, Megan didn't say no names. That's the whole kill. Megan did not drop a name in this at all. She took that, ran with it, and has not stopped talking ever since. I feel like these are one of those beefs to boost sales and visibilities. Rappers did a lot in the past. Oh yeah, let's call it for what it is. Especially for like, if you from New York, let's call it for what it is. Or are you from the streets? When it comes down to beef, there was no going into the booth and everything like that. Niggas was picking up spaghettis and like, pulling up to places and stuff like that. A beef wasn't just no talking back and forth, exchange Twitter fingers and stuff like that. Niggas was really getting killed out here for that type of shit. They was really getting killed for this. They like I can think of the 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef. You know what I'm saying? Tupac versus Biggie. I can go down the list. You know what I'm saying? Of different people it is with their beefs. It all was something of like, okay, link ups happen and niggas got shot or unalived over something like that. That's how powerful a beef was back then. And it's kind of sad to see that with Nicki is like, she used to not be like, she used to really be in a hiding. Oh yeah, Nas versus Jay-Z, that's another one too. Nicki used to really just be in a hiding. She would let like, hey, listen, whatever this nigga gotta say about me, all right, cool, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? She used to really do that, and then she'll drop music, boom. Talk about when it comes down to this, like, okay, the barbs, this is and this, love you guys, okay, boom, drop music, boom. Goes back into hiding. She's losing every essence of that. And like I said, anybody that's over 35 and you doing all this shit, I know you're not happy at home, sis. I don't know, that nigga probably bored as shit with that damn Hank house arrest bracelet.
Deserves all the smoke. And the rest of you motherfuckers going against Nicki deserve a little bit of smoke too. And then there's a lot of people who are kind of, in the middle. They're not a big fan of Meg. They're not a big fan of Nicki. But obviously they enjoy the entertainment. The biggest advantage that Megan Thee Stallion had in this situation.
Like, look at this hairstyle, man. When I tell you it is like that reverse asymmetrical wig or the pink underneath this, man, you know how many women wore stuff like this? She has literally paved her way into this. Stop doing this goofy shit, gang.
Situation right here, especially now that we know the outcome in hindsight, is that she didn't really have to do a lot to antagonize Nicki. I mean, just take a look at what happened. Megan Thee Stallion dropped one record where
right,
she was throwing some shots at Nicki, and Nicki Minaj responded in this fashion. Because the perspective was,
I wouldn't even call that a beef. Like, with Kenneth and Offset, that wasn't even a beef. Because Offset was just as confused. That nigga was also confused too. He's just like, hey, listen, I don't know what the fuck going on. Nigga, listen. We just came from out of a jet. Just some like, and that's real shit. That is real shit. Like, that's not even a beef. Niggas talking about something, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull up to this. This nigga Offset was with Kai. Doing the whole 24-hour stream, dancing and shit like that with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? They was sleep. Wasn't they on a fucking air mattress on the stream? This nigga wasn't worried about Kenneth Petty. That nigga was just bored.
hey, if Megan ever comes for Nicki, Nicki's gonna respond back with a diss track, and there's not gonna be anything left of Megan Thee Stallion. And had things went in that direction, I think it would have greatly benefited Nicki Minaj, and it would have not really been that good for Meg, because from that perspective, you know, she had the confidence to go against Nicki, but look at you, she dropped a diss track and she obliterated you. That's most likely how things would go, considering the
if Nicki did this, it would have been the coldest shit. We ain't gonna talk about the diss song just yet that she did. But if Nicki didn't say a word and she dropped that cover of the whole Bigfoot with the pink shoes, I promise you that's tough. That would have been tough. Everything of the talking, all of that stuff it is that she did, it just discredited all of the cover art and everything else that came with it. It was too much. It was way too much. I mean, it was every day talking about it, throwing ats at this girl, all subs, adding her, all that. He was doing too much. She should have just, and even just releasing snippets of like disses. Like I've never heard. Normally it is they don't do that from what it is I can remember. If it's a diss, is a diss. You gonna have to wait until there's a motherfucker drop the diss until you heard what it is they said. I think she did too much here.
The fact that Nicki's very much a rapper, and I think whatever she would have dropped in response to this Hiss record would have most definitely been something that at least tops what Megan dropped. Now we have a situation where Megan made a statement on this song and she left the rest for the public to discuss. She didn't double down on anything, which she could have definitely done. She didn't make any statements after the song dropped, which she could have definitely done. She dropped and she dipped, and now she got Nicki bringing all this traffic to her, because all these responses that Nicki Minaj has been firing off, this is all promo promo for Megan Thee Stallion's brand. And contrary to popular belief, I don't really think this hurts Megan Thee Stallion at all. This is not something that's gonna hurt her credibility because she didn't really do too much. She had a couple shots aimed at Nicki on a record, but overall, it's almost like she baited Nicki Minaj into this just so she could continue on with what she got next. And Nicki, obviously, she's not gonna hold back because, hey, she's been waiting for this day. She's been waiting until one of these female rappers, but especially Meg, comes for her. Unfortunately for Nicki, I don't really think any of this is actually helping her in any kind of way. This only further validates what they've been saying about Nicki for the longest, which is she's crazy. So now she's giving him that ammo. Now Nicki could have avoided this had she just dropped a diss record and let that spoken for her. But she didn't do it for whatever reason. Some might say she doesn't want to do it because, you know, publicity for Meg. But then again, if that was the case, then she would have not been talking about Meg this much, because that's exactly what she's doing. She's promoting her brand. This is a lose-lose for Nicki, but this is a win-win for Megan Thee Stallion, which is also why most people, as you can see, they're kind of siding with Megan here, because a lot of people have been looking at some of the things that Nicki brought up as an example, Megan's dead mother, and that alone kind of becomes the focal point of everything that Nicki has said. She's bringing up her mother. Why? Because that's a sensitive spot that she can hit. And same with Megan Thee Stallion. Why does she say what she said about Nicki's husband? Well, because
honestly, that's all it is that people just need to bring, because it's still valid. It's still valid. You know, that Megan's mother passing is so unfortunate, and that changed this woman's whole entire mindset and mental afterwards. That, you know, she was like this with her mama. Her mama was in the booth saying that this, like, all right, you got to be like this, this, and this. You got to be like this. Like, you know, we've seen some videos of like she shared about with her mom and stuff. Her mom literally is the reason to why it is, like, you know, that Megan does this. But the thing about with Kenneth Petty, the stuff with him, it still sticks. It's still valid. It is still something that is you can able to see. And it actually, the nigga got tried and convicted. I'm sorry, but it's that's all it is a nigga need to say. You should feel rather disgusted about that. You're married to somebody it is who did this, you know? Like, you're you know, and her brother, you know? Like I said, all this stuff runs in the family. So this is issues for me.
Because that's the most sensitive place she can hit Nicki. Because now she takes away the focus from Nicki Minaj to her family. And the conversation becomes more about Nicki's family rather than Nicki Minaj herself. So Megan Thee Stallion, she accomplished a lot of things here. And she did it very strategically because she didn't outright say,
Megan don't gotta do nothing. But the way how it is, but I'm not like, especially now, I feel like I have shit to lose. But catch a younger version of me, and if I was in a beef like this, I would have posted up at a school. I would have posted up at a school within yards of a damn school and shit like that. Just, you know, hit the peace sign and went about my day. I wouldn't have said not shit. I would have. You would have seen me posted up with a selfie at a park. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I would have been at motherfucking Cold Stone. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so all the kids gather around. What ice cream flavor it is that you want? You want this one? Passing out ice cream and shit on my dime, my own dime. I would have did some shit like that, and I would have never said anything else. That's man, I don't got no kids, but I probably would have been just like, all right, let me go. You know what I'm saying? Let me go take my little baby cousins to school or some shit. I would have did some shit like that. You said I cannot with you. Listen, I don't be petty like that anymore. I don't. You know, I have shit. I feel like I have shit to lose, so I can't do that. But I could catch a younger version of me within, like, I'd say a golden, like 20, 24, 25. I'm like, I bet. All right, cool. You trying my shit? Watch what I do.
Say his name, or she didn't outright say Nicki's name. She dropped a bar that further incentivizes people to go investigate a pain point of Nicki's. And that pain point now becomes the focus of this conversation. Now for Nicki, her approach wasn't that good, because if she really wanted to hurt Meg, she would have dropped that diss and called it quits. But instead, she took the spray and pray approach. And this kind of approach is usually more associated with someone who hasn't put the time in. Because unlike Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki has put the time in. She's a veteran, and she could have used that to her advantage, but now considering everything she said, she's kind of coming across as crazy and deranged to most people. With that being said, I don't really think Nicki Minaj was really trying to make a point with any of the things she said. I think for her, anything she says in order to hurt Meg was justified in her mind. Also too, you know, now that we know how Nicki Minaj responded, to some extent Nicki feels threatened, which is something that I never really thought. Of all people, I don't really think she would give Meg all this smoke. Because all this, although from Nicki's perspective, she might feel like she's hurting Meg, I don't really think she's doing much to hurt her at all right now. Because public perception is very important here. If someone of Nicki's stature is responding to someone of Megan's stature in this fashion, that says a lot about how she feels about Meg in relation to her position, in my opinion.
Exactly. For somebody, it is like, you know, and especially, like I said, Nicki used to go into like, all right, cool, I'm just going to hide and I'm gonna post when it is that I need to. I'm gonna talk about this when it is that I need to. That's why I always say it is of like media training goes a long way. And of course, when things happen, it's organic to feel things. I feel like a lot of times people try to undermine or emotions. It's okay to feel emotions, especially when life starts to life or when things happen. But there is a level of, okay, cool, you felt this. How do you move forward from this? And especially with being in this lighting, now it's like, how do you move forward with this and be prepared for when questions come about? I'm always thinking these questions with everything it is that I do. You know, somebody could literally come into the chat here and ask me about something of like my past or something like that. And I have to be prepared to answer that, or my mom's be prepared to delete it. But I'm usually the type of person who at least address certain things, you know? She's moving forward by making a song with Doja. It's okay to feel a certain way, but you have to manage those emotions. Yeah, you have to manage those. And it's okay to feel those things. And I'm also telling myself this. It is okay to feel these levels of emotions. But I know it's hard. I know it is. I know it is very hard. Even for me, it is hard to kind of just say, okay, well, damn, it is what it is. Boom, I'm gonna move forward. Or just letting people just think whatever it is that they want of you. That's another thing. But you know, Nicki really is doing that. I see we sipping on tea today. We're just talking about this beef. It's been going on all weekend, so might as well go ahead.
Opinion, kind of looking at this objectively, I don't really think Meg really did too much to hurt Nicki Minaj with this diss record either, because she didn't really bring up anything people didn't know. People have been known about Nicki Minaj's husband. She didn't uncover a secret here. She did, however, manage to hurt Nicki in the end after the fact, because she managed to trigger Nicki in this fashion. Because this beef is not really insulated just to hip hop. This beef is something that the whole world is seeing go down. And from the
But that's usually how disses work. Man, a diss, like if you see rap battles or rap beefs and everything like that, niggas go for jugulars. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what a diss is. I mean, I ain't gonna sit there and say this, you know, it's wrong. It's wrong for the shit it is that they say. But like, if you coming in strong and stuff like that, like think of any diss it is you think of, and just the shit that they dropped. That was just boom, bombs at the bombs, or just, you know, just dropping bombs on like a lyric about what somebody it is they beefing with, and it's like, oh shit, they said that. That's what it is. Which is why it is you gotta be careful, because you know, stuff like, truth really be told, if I was in Nicki Minaj's shoes, I would have never let the public know. I would never let the public see Kenneth at all. If you were going to go ahead and to marry this man, that's all it is. Somebody has to say about with this woman is that you married this man, and it sticks. It's the problem. Stuff like that of like, you know what it is, like when you got some shit that niggas could put in a diss about you. I think you need to make sure it is that you tighten up. you gotta tighten up. And that goes for anybody, you know what I mean? And somebody could sit there and write a diss and whatnot, and it's like, damn, fuck, you know? No, that's some things. That's some things that they can able to look and find out and be like, I bet, what should I do with this? Nicki really could have just been a Missy or something like that. Would have been a great mentor. I swear to you, Nicki really could have been such an amazing mentor to the younger rappers that's coming up, that are hot, that are known now and everything like that. I swear she could have. It's like she has modes to where it is that she do this, but then she backpedals on with beefing with these same women. And it could be miscellaneous things when it comes down to these beefs, But it's like, dang, like you're making it kind of weird at this rate of where if somebody new comes into play and like, oh, you go ahead, you do a song with them. Now it's just like, well, dang, well, let's see how long it is it's gonna be until she start beefing with that person too. Those are the issues I have.
Outside, people see a rapper by the name of Megan Thee Stallion dropping a diss record, which then sends the most successful female rapper of all time into a frenzy. That's not very good for one's public image if one's image before they went into this frenzy was seen as very abrasive. So in the end, although I don't really think there's truly a winner here, if we look at what Meg said, if we look at what Nicki said, I think Megan Thee Stallion definitely managed to take the W. The conversation of if Nicki Minaj went too far is something that seems to be coming up. And honestly, if we look at this objectively, man, Megan Thee Stallion knew what she was getting into. Megan Thee Stallion knew that if she said this about Nicki Minaj's husband, that would then open the door for Nicki to attack her family, which...
I mean, but like, this is the thing that applies with life in general. Whatever situation or whatever consequences that comes from your actions that you do, you have to be able to be okay with what the other person does or how they respond and everything like that. And you can't get mad at this because it's the decision it is that you made. You know, when you make hard decisions, you need to be very careful with this. And I'm also very privy to this. Like, I'm usually very mindful of this. I don't like to make big decisions like that right away. Especially like if it was a diss like this. You got to think about that. It's just like, what could come from this if I do this? And is it worth it to do this? Is it worth it to go the toe to toe or this and this? But I can understand maybe with Nicki, not with Megan Thee Stallion. One, you got all these different eyes on you. They're talking about with your sex life. They're talking about with the situation you getting, with your foot. This whole situation and everything. That was so big. It was the talk from 2020, and just to continue to keep thinking about it, have people ridicule you, throw your name underneath the mud, and especially if you being an up and coming known successful rapper, that is very traumatic. That is extremely traumatic. So,
she did. So I can really look at this and say Nicki went too far. I mean, what is really too far if we're talking about a rap beef? Things get really ugly. And if you open the...
Talking about somebody's deceased parent, that is already too far. That's already too far.
Door and it's cold as hell on a January day, you can't be surprised that there's cold air coming into your damn house. And for this particular story, to be fair to Meg, I'm sure she's not surprised that there's cold air coming into her apartment. People on the outside, however, are surprised that there's cold air coming into the apartment. So you're not going to see Megan Thee Stallion going on Instagram Live talking about Nicki Minaj said this about my dead mother. She went too far. No, she didn't go too far because I knew what I wanted to do here. I wanted to hurt Nicki. I managed to hurt her in the end, and she said all this about my dead mother in order to get back at me. I think it seems like it's too much because, we're talking about two women beefing and people are not used to seeing a woman, especially like a public figure, being so vicious with their get back. At the end of the day, I'm sure Megan Thee Stallion is happy about the outcome here because she got a lot of free promo. She's been on Nicki Minaj's mind for like the last 48 hours straight. And now she's going to use all this momentum to promote her next album. As for Nicki Minaj, well, Nicki's going to be Nicki, right? And the Barb's going to be the Barbs. I think her fan base is going to stand by her even more after this because now their common enemy has retaliated on wax. Anyway, there you have the video. If you made it this far, do me a favor and like the video, okay? Don't leave without liking the video. Also, if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss this amazing content. Megan Thee Stallion versus Nicki Minaj. What do you guys think about this beef? Megan dropped a record titled Hiss, where she was taking some shots at Nicki, and Nicki had a whole lot of things to say. Curious to hear what you have to say about this topic. Who you rocking with here? Megan, Nicki? Curious to hear. So I'll see you in the comment section below, but most importantly of all, I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day or good night. Peace.
All right. So switch back over. So yeah, that we went ahead and had like a nice little deep dive of this. And Blackie Speaks, shout outs to you, gang. Dropping them bangers, you know what I'm saying? Especially this video got over 143K views within 2 days. You know? He said Megan took a bunch of shots at everyone and only Nicki is butthurt. I'm sure it is. We're probably going to hear from the others too, especially with Drake. We know how Drake be. But, you know, Blackie Speaks, shout outs to you. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. And shout outs to you at home. I'll catch y'all in the next video.